Sunday, everyone. Happy Sunday. It is 145 degrees in my apartment right now. And I'm not over exaggerating. I'm not being dramatic. Segue. Today, I'm going to be talking to you guys about acting. My sort of top 2, 3, or 4 favorite acting tips that I've actually been told directly, or that I've learned in my very amateur experience acting both on stage and behind the camera. So just to give you guys a little bit of background, I have been acting since I was a small child. I started out doing, grade school plays and things like that. I did a few, what do you call it? Like the small town, like recreational, I don't know. I did a few plays with the the players of my hometown kind of thing, like just small groups like that. In high school, I took a couple drama classes, did some odds and end little skits. And then in my post-secondary education, during my post-secondary education, I also did 2 plays, 2 which I acted in, 1 I choreographed for, with my university's affiliate college players as well. In my last years of university, I got involved with, I lived in a city for post-secondary. It was very much like a university city. I went to the university, and there was on the other end of the city the college. I did a couple films, both as a secondary character and a lead character with their advanced film program. So I do have both theater and film experience. My personal preference is very, very much film. I love being in front of the camera. And then in a year, I went to the university closer to home. I went back just for a year after my undergraduate just to get a bunch of drama courses. I was going to take them and apply them to sort of my application for Teachers College as my second teachable, because I wanted to teach high school. So I did, last year was so fun for me because I actually just took all drama classes at the university here. Most of the tips that I'm going to talk to you guys about today were actually taken from one amazing professor I had. He was sort of a guest professor for this 1-week intensive class that the university would always offer during the spring break. It was a professor. He had taught at the university before, but he was most recently in Ireland directing movies, or a movie or a film, and just he's very, very successful man. And most of the things that I'm going to talk to you about today do come from him and what I learned from that course. So, in no particular order, I just want to share with you guys some of my most useful tips for acting, and from someone who's never officially been, professionally trained. I've never paid for acting classes outside of my actual education. So, as I mentioned earlier, grade school, high school, I recreationally participated in theater outside of post-secondary, but any actual drama education, acting education I received was through courses through the school. So I never did the headshots thing, never got an agent. I mean, as of yet, I haven't made those sort of career moves. So I do very much consider myself an amateur actor, if not a less than amateur actor. So this is just me, Chelsea, talking to you, my best takeaways from what experience and education I do have so far. So the first thing I want to say is something I've learned is to choose your projects wisely. First, choose your projects wisely in that, it's sort of a balance between people always saying, build your portfolio, take what you can get, pay your dues, you're never, always going to get the leads, so take whatever part you can. I do believe in that. However, you can still be picky when choosing what projects you want to participate in, especially those where the parts are sort of given to you. What I mean is when you have friends in the industry, or even making student films, and they're offering you these parts, or they're offering you, audition for this part, you're really good for it, here's the script. What you want to do is you want to read those scripts ahead of time, okay? Familiarize yourself with what you're agreeing to. at face value, it sounds really cool. It's like, oh, they're like asking me to audition. I'll probably get this part. Another thing, another, short film I can add to my acting resume. Sure, yes, but you don't want to get kind of roped into something that you're uncomfortable with, or is sort of read the script ahead of time and familiarize yourself with the project, because while you want to add things to your portfolio, you also don't want to agree to something ahead of time that makes you uncomfortable. A personal experience that I had, I got really excited. A friend of mine was doing this project. They had written a script for. We did a bunch of sort of auditions via Skype. They lived away at the time, and they found, another actor. We started doing readings, and then things started getting added to the script after the fact. So this was added in, that was added in, the script changed, the plot changed, the scenes changed, and it was pretty far from the script that I had originally agreed to. Now, at the time, I absolutely had read it through ahead of time and agreed to, what I saw. And while I'm absolutely open-minded to ideas changing and the story changing, when it involves things that make you uncomfortable, it's okay to say no. It's okay to say no to projects even after you've agreed. So keep that in mind, especially with an amateur status, when you don't have someone protecting you. You know what I mean? There's nothing legally binding. You don't have an agent that can kind of speak on your behalf. You are your own business kind of thing. You know what I mean? So you do have to speak for yourself. So choose your projects wisely in that sense. The other aspect of this is choose your projects wisely for the fact that, how do I say this right? The production quality of what you participate in, and of course this is, I'm just speaking about film for this, the production quality of what you participate in and the other actors that you work with, the project reflects them and that. So while this might be one of your, your most favorite parts that you played, you think you did a really good job, very strong choices, the chain is only as strong as its weakest link, that kind of thing. And that's, I'm really not trying to sound like cocky or, trying to give you guys the attitude that, don't participate in projects, where you're better than everyone. It's nothing to do with that. It's just that those, the production quality and things that, especially things that you want to add to your portfolio, add to your demo reel, things like that, you want to make sure that mostly the quality of the piece as a whole is worth adding to something that's representing you. Is that making sense? You want to add something to your demo reel. Yes, you are proud of your choices and your acting in that short skit, but you also want it as a whole to look good. You guys catch my drift? Hopefully. Okay. Oh my god, just holding this iced coffee is so lovely. It is so hot in here. Someone put a timestamp in the comments as to when the first drop of sweat drops down my face. You guys are getting to know me real quick. Okay. The second piece of advice, also coming from this really great professor I had, is to make your own projects. Okay, make your own work. Whether you're, an actor that's very, very serious about making a career out of this for yourself, whether it's just something you like to do on the side, you love being in front of the camera, but you kind of have a full-time job, you don't have time to give it your all right now, whether you're going to school for drama, whatever level of acting you consider yourself within, make your own things, okay? Film YouTube videos. Make self-tapes of, your favorite monologue. Make a podcast with a friend. If even to post on Facebook for your family and friends to watch and enjoy, fine. It will be so enjoyable for you, and you never know what will happen to those small projects. You know what I mean? Those projects you made themselves could, go viral and be seen by, someone important, or just that tiny project that you started by only posting on Facebook can turn into something bigger. So definitely create work for yourself. That's what I'm trying to get at. Create work for yourself. If even by yourself in front of the camera with a friend, having a friend help with the filming, practice editing, try to put your foot in all of the ponds, so to say. And get involved and go from the writing portion of something of a project to the production portion, and edit it and post it. If not for anyone else, for yourself, to be proud of a project that you participated in from start to finish. like I said, if it's not something to actually add to your portfolio now or in the future, it's for your own fun. It's for your own enjoyment, depending on, how much you enjoy acting. And I personally, it's the reason I'm in front of this camera right now. It's some kind of performance. It's some kind of outlet for my creativity. I love it so much. So just create your own work, start your own projects, big or small. Great piece of advice. What am I, a dinosaur? Why am I holding this like this? Oh my God. The next thing I wanted to point out to you guys, it's such a cliche phrase, but it is like absolutely my favorite thing to just base my entire life on. Confidence is key. Confidence is absolutely key when it comes to acting. Right from the point of an audition to when you are in front of the camera to when you are actually on stage, confidence is key. Now, I specified confidence and not cockiness, okay? Especially when it comes to auditions. There's a way to perform a piece that you've practiced. There's a way to audition for a role that is confident and not cocky. It's important to differentiate between these two because you can't walk into an audition overconfident or cocky in the way that you're playing a role, because you're going to crumble the second that director and that producer and that casting director watches you do it and they immediately shut it down and they say, play it like this. Meanwhile, you've sat at home for a week and a half practicing it one way. You got opinions of mom and grandma and everyone else, and they said you were doing it perfectly. You know what I mean? Your acting friends, and you go in and they shut you down and they tell you to play it another way. You can be confident in your choices without being cocky about them. Now, that being said, confident and keep an open mind for exactly that example, that reason I just gave you. Keep an open mind because you are going to get suggestions for changes. You are going to have, directors completely see it a different way. Maybe they'll see it a different way and they'll shut it down. Maybe they'll love the way you played it. And that'll be the first time they ever considered the role being played that way, and they'll take your idea and run with it. You never know, so go in confident with your choices, but also keep an open mind. The last thing I have to say, and this isn't really a tip for acting, but it's a tip related to acting. The last thing I want to talk about, and I actually saved the best for last, this is more focused on like the theater aspect, like doing theater, not so much film. Well, I don't know. Actors in general, I mean, if you disagree with me, that's fine. Most actors out there, most actors of my friend group of actors and theater people I've worked with before, you gotta be okay to be a weirdo. You have to be okay with being a weirdo. And that being said, you have to be okay with being friends with the weirdos. If you're a theater kid, you're probably already a weirdo. Firsthand, I'm gonna admit that. First one to admit. I learned very quickly that the stage and rehearsals and auditions and the theater lifestyle and everything is just, in most of my experiences, the least judgmental place on earth. And that's why, a big part of why it's like one of my happiest places on earth. It's such a creative space. Literally, you're stepping into someone else's shoes. Everyone in the room is being someone different on purpose, playing another role, being another person. So that in itself is such an outlet for creativity and silliness. And it just ends up sort of carrying over into backstage and carrying over into, your rehearsals and your relationships and friendships with these people all together. So, just let your guard down is what I'm saying. To put it in more English adult words. Let your guard down. Be silly. Be okay with being a weirdo. 100%. And you know what? Let that carry over into your role and your performance. A big part of acting is you forgetting who you are. You know what I mean? You hear so much. I've heard so much, at least. When I've played different characters, I've been told, take the Chelsea out of it, or don't say it as Chelsea, say it as this person. That is very truthful, and part of doing that is maybe letting that part of inside of you that's always been there but is sheltered and sort of shut out because of society and friends and blah, blah, we gotta be adults all the time, I don't know. Let that person out. Let that person inside you out, whether in your performance and in your interactions with your theater mates, because it's a really, really great thing when you feel that that home sense, that welcoming, judgment-free environment, and when you're participating in it truly. So definitely be okay with that. All right, that's it. I'm rambling. That's all I had to share with you guys today. Thank you for coming in to chat with me for another Sunday. It's definitely warming up around here where I'm from. So it's probably going to be iced coffees for the foreseeable future, but that's fine. Okay, guys, that's all I wanted to share with you guys today. As usual, if you guys have more things to add in from experience or otherwise, you guys want to challenge me on anything that I shared with you guys today, different perspective on any of these tips from my fellow amateurs or even from my professional actors, let me hear it. I will see you guys, hear you guys, talk to you guys hopefully next Sunday. Thanks for tuning in this week, and